May 18th, 1980, Texas. I was just a little kid when Mount St. Helens blew. I was in kindergarten, but my dad was fascinated by the coverage on the news and in the papers, and as a result, I was equally excited about it. I still remember us all getting into the car after church that morning and him turning the radio on. That was the first thing that came across NPR, and I'm not sure who was more excited about it, me or my father. We spent the next week or so soaking up every bit of information we could. He'd read the newspaper articles to me, and we'd watch every news program about it. He explained to me about Mr. Truman and how many people had died. We talked about the lahars and the ash clouds. I drew pictures of volcanoes and woke up crying for fear that an eruption would harm my family. And then, about 10 days later, the rain came. And when it dried, the whole landscape was covered in a fine, ashy residue like I'd never seen. We stole one of Mom's makeup brushes and carefully dusted off the windshield and hood of the family Monte Carlo. It was gray and powdery and felt like flour. We scavenged up a tiny baby food jar and gathered up as much of it as we could. It was nothing like the red clay dust native to where we lived, and we took it over to the local community college to have the geology professor look at it. Nothing could have been more amazing to me. The fine powder contained a bit of the volcanic dust that had been brought in on the weather patterns all the way from the west coast to eastern Texas. It started a lifelong fascination with the Pacific Northwest, and 17 years later, I made my way to Seattle, found the love of my life, and naturalized to the amazing place that is the Pacific Northwest. As I type this story up, that little glass jar is still among my personal keepsakes, having come full circle from Mount St. Helens to Northeast Texas to Washington State all over again.